The last thing that I want you to realize here is that so every time you jump into it with somebody, be careful of what you're doing. It's not just that you're going to win that argument. It's not just that you can hold that vibration and energy, but you just need to tell them what. It's just that you're in a loop and they're drawing you back into that loop. That's the final thing I want you to realize here is that, remember, the reason why all this works is because other people get it going on that are not even doing this. They're not trying to fix the problem. They don't know what the problem is. They're so far. Think about the stuff that we were talking about today, right? And then imagine the average person. Even you may have struggled with a bit of this today and need to actually rewind this and play it back again, right? So now look at the average person. Now what you see is just a direct portal of dragging you right back into the whole thing again. So you choose. This should be your mantra. When you start seeing it pop off, you should start laughing like, oh my goodness, they really tried to draw me into that. They are going to be here forever. This is ridiculous. But I'm not. So I'm not going to jump in. Just make sure that you're aware of this, because every time you jump in, this is like you're not letting the wound heal, if you may. You're not actually allowing, it's a cumulative effect. Power is a cumulative effect. You're filling up something. It's like water being dumped into a vessel. So if every time, and now remember also, we talked about this a long time ago so the more power you start building up, they be trying to milk you for this power. It's almost like they can smell it on you. This stuff you cannot see physically with your eyes, but people can feel it and you can feel it. So once you start charging up, and this is another thing to work on before the 30th. When you're avoiding these conflicts and confrontations, like Napoleon Hill says, he never met any successful person that got into petty confrontations. Okay? That's in The Secrets to Success. So that means that, I even find myself doing this sometimes when I leave for a message and it's like, okay, my guy, all right, here we go. And I'm giving them a good 150. And they only gives a character limit here. So it's like 150. So I'm deleting this stuff. And then I'll catch myself. Like, my guy, what is to become of this? What are you doing? Please put this thing down. And come on now. That's how you got to be on yourself. Every time they're trying to drag you in, I'm laughing about this. I'm laughing, it's bringing me to tears because, it's same thing, make you laugh, make you cry, right? So it's real talk. Right now, people are always getting triggered. And this is like, they throw the bait out there and they start reeling it in and here you go. You're going at this. This is not even a worm. It's a, what do they call that? What did the fishermen call the thing that's not even real, right? It's just like the test and then anyway, I know my fisherman going to say something in the chat here in a moment, but basically the lure, the fake lure that's just plastic with all the hooks in it, with all the shiny stuff. You're not even getting the worm. You're not even getting the chum. They're not even chumming the water for you right now. They just bringing one of them cheap ass Kmart $3 lures, tackle. Yeah, so I said a tackle with the bob, with the cheap 20-cent bob on the top. And here you come, big fish. And then all your power, all your energy, everything. We are trying to get one turn happening here, one turn of the Nautilus to completely dissolve this whole thing about the unclarity of the past. So what I'm telling you is that, yes, many are going to have to go through the hard knock life shadow world of getting themselves together. But I'm also presenting that there is this other way where you can just master one cycle and then apply that symbol to all your cycles to open all your doors. So basically what you do is in this experience, you distill the experience to a key. And then once you have that key, it's going to open up all those wombs. And when you walk into them, instead of you feeling the triggered the abuse and the fear and all the kind of things that were associated with that creation, keep walking. Keep walking through, because all of these are really the same, even though you're going to sometimes see them as different. And that's what I was saying before about that whole different code. The different code is dangerous. Now, imagine how much I had to deal with a different code. If you go to Google right now and you Google Bomar gene, you'll find out it's the gene that makes people unique. This is what they call the Bomar gene, is the gene that makes people unique. In addition, you see this ambrosia, right? Ambro is an anagram for Bomar. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, I've been seeing to be coming in and out of this shit for infinity. So I'm not saying that, hey, I think this is what's going on. No, I know this is what's going on. And for once in life, I'm being boisterous about it and insisting that others, including myself, get out of this pattern. Because we've learned what we need to learn. We've healed already of what needed to be healed. We've grown up, and now it's time to shed these concepts of death. So birth must go. See, some people were upset. I felt it when I said that you weren't a baby and you needed to be a baby. They loved the baby. So they're like, well, no, the baby's the baby. What I'm saying is, if you accept the beginning, you must accept the end. To accept the end is to accept the beginning. So you can't accept the baby. The consciousness and the concepts that you're going to keep coming into stuff vulnerable and not knowing what's going on, that code has got to be obsolete. But you can see how it works on somebody. Like, man, when you're talking about a manslaughterer, it's good to put him in a baby form again. This is what we were talking about the Titans and how the Titans got shrunk down. Like, all of that power equals a lot of destruction if you don't have that power under control. Or actually, in control. In control versus under control, right? So the judge is under control and tries to put everything else under it with that control, versus in control is, I'm the Lord of my own life. I'm the master of my own sovereignty. Somebody else coming talking that crazy stuff. Why am I going to spend juice and jazz on them? Like, what is... At the highest levels, if somebody is really, really getting on your nerves, the greatest thing that you could ever do to show them that they never won was to ignore them, to where it never even ticks. It never even ticks. That's how you'll know. When it doesn't even tick. Sometimes you may have this under control. You wasn't going to do nothing anyway. but you'll be burning up inside. You still haven't mastered it yet. So somebody say, hey, what am I going to do? Work on that. If you still feel a reflection where somebody does something, you feel like you need to jump in and reload all the codes again, just fix that. And I'm sure you'll be great. When the whole thing, the fake death thing happens, that fast shift into doing something that is just immediately exhausting the energy or immediately bringing you into a space that does not feel comfortable for you. Why would I go in a space that didn't feel comfortable for me? Right? So this is how do we master this, through the ways of seeing it clearly. If I am willing to make myself upset, that means I'm willing to send myself back into a world of abuse. And I'm willing to send myself back into a world where nothing's ever going to happen for me, really, or I'm never going to reach the top, or I'm always going to be begging, or there's always going to be an issue, or there's always going to be a problem. Do you get where I'm coming from? So if I'm willing to let somebody else right now at this stage in time say something to me that lets me turn my frequency into something that does not make me thrive and feel comfortable with who I am, then I am willing at the end of my life to come back into punishment, to despair, to fear, dishonesty, possession. I'm willing to come into all of that, because that's when it happens. And that's it. So you got an easy benchmarker. You got something that's quantifiable, as they call it. Because some of this knowledge, you'd be like, man, so where are we going to find it? On the magic carpet? This is something that you can test yourself with at every single moment. Am I tripping? Am I letting them get into me? Now, there was a final question, in fact. So this question was, it was a bit more into the direction of, so when other people are around me, because I got to live with them, or it's like my significant other or whatever, and they're doing it. How do I deal with it? Okay. Are they going to hit you? Like when they're going into their thing, because here's the thing, it's going to take you time to do what you need to do anyway with yourself. When you're building and you're creating something, it's a tenure. So generally 10 years, right? So sometimes they're just placeholders. It's like, I'm going to chill with you. But your ass got 5 more years because once I level up. So meaning that sometimes it's explainable that as long as you're not jumping into it and they're not hitting you because you're not saying anything to them and you're not jumping into this argumentative train, because after a while they go see the boss is what's going to happen. It's like after you keep not diving in, they're going to feel the divine masculine, divine feminine authority starting to come off of you. But if every time they're trying to test the metal and it's like you're jumping into it with them, then that ain't it. But I'm telling you, if you just start like numbing out on them real quick, like, ooh, I just don't have no time. And just start talking crazy and you just start walking off. This is only going to lead to one or two things. Either they're going to hit you, which you need to get out anyway, or they just go to this point where they start realizing like, yo, okay, I guess he's really serious about being different. Because see, that's the whole thing with people, right? Like they think you're the same. They think that you're always going to be the same like them. That's that point to point system that I was telling you about that keeps confirming this normality. They think every time they bump into you, they're bumping into the same person. I be laughing at people because they be thrown off when I come around sometimes. They be like, is there anything new? I'm like, man, there was something new 10 minutes ago for me. Like, absolutely, there's something always changing and going on. But then I can visit some people and find that they are still the same. And hey, that's great, but that's just not how I like the thing. I don't serve my life up that way. So I'm just explaining to you very simply. You can test yourself here from the next to November 30th about how well you're able to hold your frequency stable. That's a sovereign. And then what will happen is as you're leveling up, because this is doing something behind the scenes, the environment can't, at a certain frequency, it can't keep handling this. So either the person goes into some level of transformation themselves based on the contact that they have with you, or the environment starts not being able to hold the frequency and it morphs. That's how we change things. So you see those who have power, they sit and they focus on that power. They ain't sitting there running all around. I told you, man. I told you. What you know? I'll grab the firmament. And oh, you're gonna make me do something. You're gonna make me grab. Do you know how much power I have? Do you know who you talk out? I'll hurl immediate. Okay. All right. You think I'm a joke. I notice how the arguments are wild, right? Because it's just like a back and forth of who can say the worst thing. Or like when you try to scare people, it's like a gorilla. You're just like, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, I'm really the craziest. No, I'm the crazy. Yo, I'm about to break your shit. You see what I mean? So this is old school, right? Like we know this, we don't do this anymore, right? We don't do this anymore, right? So now you're realizing today why this is gonna be a different kind of subconscious venture for you if you keep, in the testing fields in here now. I don't know, I'll just water it up, man. It's just hilarious. But it's so serious, like, because if it doesn't get a chance to charge, like, let's not play with it in this respect, that if you keep opening up the top like your steam and it's just not getting the opportunity to build, you can't really get to that breakthrough. And while you may think it's like after you're done, you're like, baby, we good? Yeah, I'm good, baby. I'm sorry. And this is like the 300th time. You know what I mean? This kind of behavior, this is the loop, and you should be concerned. So, because when you sit still for a moment, you feel this eerie feeling. Like I say, like, whoa, wait a minute. Something was weird. I'll keep doing this. You see what I mean? So you can slow it down for a minute. That's how you slow down time and space. And you realize, yo, this is just not another moment. This is something that keeps happening to keep me out of something bigger.